Hello, beer troopers, and happy 1st of November, the first day of Barley Wember, a month of the glorious beer style known as barley wine. This is a month that is dedicated to that for at least some Danish beer geeks, and I'm going to try to post as many barley wine videos as possible. I could potentially do a month. Let's see. A lot of these will be pre-recorded, so hopefully I can get to do a month of just barley wine. We'll see. I don't know yet because I'm shooting this in September, so I thought we should get on the wagon today, this year as well, because I did a few videos last year, but I have like loads of barley wine. So I'm sure we can definitely do quite a few. So we're starting off with a very famous barley wine from Revolution Brewing Company in the United States, in Chicago. And this is a can of their Straight Jacket barley wine. So this is part of their Deepwood series, and this is their series of barrel-aged beers. This is one of the biggest of the breweries that does like the biggest bang for your buck in terms of barrel-aged beer. Like, they're canned and they're often extremely affordable, especially for what you get. I have reviewed a few variants of Straight Jacket. I reviewed the maple version and then the V.S.O., the very special old V.S.O.J, I think was the name. Double barrel V.S.O.J, which was insane. So I've tried a few, but I never tried the regular Straight Jacket, which we're trying today. So this is a 15% English style barley wine. I guess American English style barley wine, because it's not exactly the same as the classic British ones. That's been aged in bourbon barrels, and it just says here an arresting embrace of malt and barrel, and it's released once a year. And it's, just a very good beer. I really love the new art style they've gone for with their cans. You can see this barrel exploding, and there's a lot of interesting barley wine spirits fuming out of it. So let's try a Straight Jacket for the first time, the base for all the other jacket beers. So this pour is a very nice, like burgundy reddish color. Slightly mahogany. It looks really beautiful in the glass. It's got some very nice ruby reddish tones to it as well. And it's crystal clear. And it's got a nice little bit of a like very sparkling, foamy tan head. Let's check out the aroma on Straight Jacket for the first time. Oh, it smells really good. Very fudgy, loads of toffee, loads of bourbon. Very bright smelling. So I'm not sure how long they aged this in barrels, but it feels like it's around a year plus at least. It has a lot of the vibrant barrel notes without like a lot of that like extended aged like port winey vinous characters. Loads of fudge, loads of caramel, almost like salted caramel because there's an umami note. There's charry wood. This smells fucking like great barley wine, and this is like, it's super affordable. I can't remember what I paid for this in Europe. I actually think this was a research beer actually for Patsy, so maybe I didn't pay for it. But in the States, these are like sold in 4-packs, which is crazy. It smells really good. There's some raisiny notes underneath here. Also some tobacco. But it's so like fudgy. Like this like intense fudgy barrel character. Like, if you are apprehensive about drinking bourbon whiskey, but want to get into it, the best way to get into it, drinking something that will taste very similar, I think is American interpretation of English style barley wine that's aged in bourbon barrels. Because you get a lot of the same notes you'll get in a bourbon. It's just much more easy because it's in a beer. It's not as aggressive. It just smells really nice. There's some vanilla notes too. Also like a little bit of a candied red apple type thing. Almost like fall spice. It smells really fucking great. Like, just smells like, it smells like textbook barrel-aged barley wine. Like how you at least want a barrel-aged barley wine to be. So cheers. Now let's try this. Massive barley wine. Happy barley wine. That's fucking good barley wine. That's fucking good barley wine. What a beer to start Barley Wember on. Wow. So much barrel. So much intense barrel. And so much fudge. It's got a slightly high carbonation, which is my only like bigger beef with it. It's also not like super rich. It's definitely got a rich body, but a full body. But I like the body more in like Anchorage to deal with the devils and stuff like that. But it's still plenty rich. And like if you want to go into the experience of drinking barley wines, this is a great place to start. Like it has pretty much everything you want without being too intense. Because some like of the modern barley wines are like really aggressive on both like sweetness and body, but also sometimes barrel if it's like barrel aged more than once. It's just really, really nice barley wine. It's, to be honest, so this is a random comparison, but it's not too far off our like original barley wine at Bedseed called Colossus. Colossus is a bit like this. This is more fudgy caramelly. I think Colossus is a bit more of a deep note to it because there's a touch of chocolate malt in it. But this is like a massive fudge caramel bomb. There's like this candied red apple note, not a lot of bourbon, not a lot of bourbon, and then it's a little bit of a festive warm spice, a touch of warming alcohol. But it's really bright, which sounds weird for a beer like this, but it's bright like vanilla, caramel, fudgy tones. It doesn't go, it lacks a little bit of the deep layers that you expect from some of these, like at least the very best, because this is still fucking great. But the very best have those like really deep umami, porty, aged characteristics with a lot of this really bright, fresh, sippy, bourbony, fudgy, caramelly notes on top. And this is more of just like those sippy, fresh notes. And V.S.O.J had a lot of like that rich depth. Or double barrel V.S.O.J, which was just fucking insane. I think that was actually the first. No, the maple one was the one I had first of these, which was just like maple drenched goodness. But the double barrel V.S.O.J was insane. I have a V.S.O.R Select in the cellar to try, which is a rye wine in selected barrels from Binny's, which is a liquor store that's quite famous in the States. Is it Chicago? I'm not sure. But this is such a pure expression of bourbon too. There's so much fudgy, caramelly, rich bourbon character, which is really nice. It's really making me want to try and pair this with bourbon. I think we're going to do that. Hold on a sec. So I am not a big spirit drinker. I do drink spirits once in a while, but it's really, really rare. But this is a style that can be really good with a sidecar. I'm thinking this might even be too spicy for the beer. But like, I have some scotch. I have a rye, Michter's rye. I have an Irish whiskey finished in bourbon casks, but no, that's not going to work. That's from Bushmills. I got that as a gift, and that's not as good as this. But this is a bottle of pure Kentucky, and this is a Willet brand. So we're just going to do this. Oh, I don't need to. This is a screw top as far as I remember. So let's just pour some. I never do booze on the channel. I know Joe has done a few, but oh, that smells great. Joe has done a few. I think he's more of a whiskey nut than me. Although I do actually own Glencairn whiskey glasses, which is from a whiskey festival. This was a tasting glass. How cool is that? So this is Pure Kentucky XO. And this is a Willet product. It's really interesting because it's really hard to figure out where this is from. You have to do a lot of research online. It just says, original small batch bourbon handmade in Kentucky, aged in new charred oak barrels, hand bottled in Kentucky. And then there is a bottling statement or like a quality number. And then it says how this is an extraordinary bourbon in the result of generation, blah, blah, blah. All natural product made with natural ingredients. Barrel aged for at least, so this is the ringer, barrel aged for at least 12 years or more depending upon climatic seasons. And then hand bottled, small batch, all this. What's interesting with this, because this is not one of the high premium brands of Willet whiskeys. but this is a 18 vintage. So this is from 2018, and this was the last year with this age statement on the bottle. They changed the age statement. I can't remember exactly how it is now, but they changed it because this was around the time when Willett started distilling again, I think. So it's something like they were blending and bottling, then they started distilling again, and then they started releasing Pure Kentucky, but with own distilled bourbon. In the past, it was a blend of bourbon that they bought to blend themselves into this version. So, and then the XO statement was also reduced, so the bourbon was younger. And I'm guessing it's because they're starting to make their own again, so they're trying to, just they had to make the age statement different. But a lot of people who are like bourbon nuts originally have said that this is like one of the better like core range type brands. It's a high rye bourbon, so there's a lot of rye in the grist. And that means it's very spicy. So let's have a sidecar with the barley wine. This is, again, I said this is the closest thing to bourbon. So massive rye on the nose. It smells fucking great. Let's just jump back to this now. This seems so fudgy. It's so funny. Like smelling this, which is actual bourbon, smelling it next to a barley wine. The barley wine seems like really sweet. Like this just smells like super caramel fudge cola bean notes. And then this high sharp bourbon, a rye. You totally smell this is a high rye grist because it has like that really spicy, intense note, almost phenolic, like what you get in Belgian yeast. Very sharp on that. And there's a note there. I just had the tasting note before I started talking. It's like it's got a little bit of a festive flair as well. Also like some sharp acidic notes, almost like a little bit like sour grain or something like sour mash. I don't know if they sour mash here, but really sharp cedar wood, like a cedar note, and like sharp peppery notes, and cinnamon, like sharp spice, like blind. I think I would think that this was a rye and not a bourbon because there's so much sharp rye on the nose, and then some fudge and whatnot going into it as well. This is. What is this? This is 107 proof, so quite strong stuff. 53.5%. That's also why it seems, I guess, extra sharp. But let's have some Pure Kentucky. It's been a while since I had some. High rye, like it's definitely different. Like than a lot of ryes can be really sharp on the spice. This has a very smooth, vanilla-y, custardy, creamy back end to me. Like it finishes with a lot of smooth fudginess, but up front is really sharp, really high on like spice and phenolic notes, like really digging in on rye, a really sharp drying spice, charry wood, lots of vanilla on the aftertaste, lots of like spicy cooked apple, like almost apple pie vibes, like cinnamon or something. But up front it's like super sharp spice, like it's almost like it's smacking you in the face with spice. Let's just try and have this now. This seems so much sweeter, but the barrel really still shines in this. It's funny, the apple, like the red apple, cooked red apple thing, caramelized red apple shines more now. It does. It's like cooked red apple. It's funny, it seems so much more sweeter just because of this. But really rich, fudgy. This is more fudgy bourbon. There's definitely fudge and caramel and stuff in this, but there's so much sharp like spice and like edge to this that you get more of the sweet notes in this and the fudgy notes. You can also feel it's a high proof bourbon because it definitely warms. Second sip now, I'm getting more sweetness, getting more fudginess, getting a nutty note. that cedar wood really shines. Also loads of pepper. It's funny, when I just opened this, it was so fucking peppery. I was like, oh my God, did I just buy a bottle I'm not gonna like? Because it was like just like straight black pepper, and then it calmed down, and then you got many more notes. But it's a very aggressive upfront, like core range bourbon, I think. It does not feel mellow, but it's also very strong in its proof. I can't remember what full proof is. That 80 proof is full proof? Or how is it? I can't remember how it is. I'm not a bourbon expert by any means, but like I'm not sure how the pure Kentucky is these days, but like if you want like if rye is a bit too much for you and you want to experience something like get into rye, I feel like this is a good way to start because it's got like a lot of the profiles and the funkiness you get in rye, but in a more palatable, fudgy sense. Like there's still a lot of it, but it's just a bit more easygoing. I just think this is world-class barley wine. This is fucking great. It's actually really fun to jump back to it now because it's so fudgy and caramelly and toffee-like on top of the very spicy pure Kentucky here. Yeah, 95, world class. This is just world class barrel-aged barley wine. This is how it should be done. Like if you want to drink barley wine, if you want to learn how to do barley wine, you want a textbook example, just have a can of Revolution Straight Jacket. This is textbook. So that's a 95. I think textbook is 95. Like if you think of something where like this is how it at least should be to be fucking awesome, then this is the case. So 95. Very different video for the first video of Barley Wimber, but hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys had a chance to try Straight Jacket from Revolution, let me know what you thought of it. And also if you had a chance to try a Pure Kentucky from Willet, which is weird. They don't say Willet anywhere on here. It just says distilled in Kentucky, bottled by Pure Kentucky Distilling Company. But I know it's Willet because I did some research before I bought this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And we're gonna have a sip of each. Very nice. I like, woo. Now it tastes like triple barrel aged, like Anchorage style, because that was a lot of whiskey. But cheers and see you guys in another beer review.